Welcome to my two-part guide on the SKS rifle. Famous in the cinemas and gaming alike, commonly found at gun show tables and pawn shop shelves, I hope to expand your knowledge on this time-proven classic. This first part will be a history lesson like your professor never bothered to give you, and one that hopefully you won't be falling asleep in. The second part will be on the current situation in regards to market value, at least in terms of fall 2022, as it's seen in the cinemas and gaming, and crimes that Bubba's commit against them. Before we begin, I would like to apologize for any butchering of the words, since I am an English speaker after all, not one of a Kalmbach origin, as well as I do my best to find factual information, so any errors that are noticed, I will do my best to rectify them. Now, without further ado, let's get into the history of the SKS rifle. In July of 1943, the People's Commissariat for Armaments began to discuss the introduction of a Soviet intermediate cartridge. After an extensive collection of data was conducted on average engagement distances, it was found that most firefights only took place between 100 to 300 meters. As a result, only a truly trained marksman could utilize the power of a traditional rifle cartridge, so the search began for something better suited for its average user. Thus, they were inspired by the capturing of late World War II German technology in the Sturmgewehr system, as well as in the field performance of the M1 carbine and its light 30 carbine cartridge utilized by the Americans at the time. In turn, as a result of innovation, began a design competition of over 300 cartridge designs initially submitted. After multiple considerations and testing, the 7.62x39 cartridge was adopted. Now, to get to our beloved SKS, we must focus on the designer, Sergei Simonov. Sergei, at this point, has already been around the block, at least in regards to weapon designs. Inspired by others, he designed the AVS-36 in 1930, and it was tested in 1935 against Fyodor Tokarov. Sergei was the winner. Using lessons learned from the AVS-36, the SKS was later born and adopted officially in 1949. As with any classic milsurp or military surplus rifle that we Americans have gotten our hands on these days, it was truly battle tested. Enough so for us armchair warriors are ready to LARP Red Dawn at any given moment. As we all have come to see the SKS being showcased in classic Vietnam era movies being utilized by the Viet Cong and NVA alike. In fact, the SKS has seen use in over 20 major conflicts. You're bound to see one even in today's wars. Some notable conflicts are the Vietnam War, the Soviet-Afghan War, the Yugoslav War, and your favorite Bush War, the Rhodesian Bush War. Of course, even our Soviet friends love a little extra side hustle. So, the SKS rifle was heavily licensed or sold to its fellow allies, or any country with a general interest for it that was. I'm not going to go entirely in depth on them in this video, as this is just a general overall view of the SKS rifle, and perhaps I will cover more rare variants in later videos. So the following are some of the more common ones that you're more likely to come across at gun shows and pawn shops. The Soviets, they had their first version being the main battle rifle version, which was the average infantry one. Their honor guard one that's still being utilized today by its troops in parades and likewise. And lastly, a Scav's favorite, the OP SKS. The Chinese mainly had the Type 56, their personal honor guard versions very similar to the Russian ones, and their commercial production models for us grubby Americans and other export fans. The Romanian M56, these were essentially copies of the late production Soviet ones. The Polish SKS, I found this one interesting. It was never mass adopted, but it has become primarily used for ceremony events. One of the more famous ones, a Yugoslavian one. These are famous for the grenade launcher muzzle devices, as seen at the front. An Albanian SKS, most commonly identified by its charging handle. Once again, these are some of the more common ones that you can find on shelves, as well as some of the flashy ones that I myself have become interested in when doing research for this video. That'll conclude my first part of the SKS rifle. I'm wanting to keep these short and to the point, so I chose the SKS since it was my first rifle that I purchased and one that I'm fairly fond of. This next part will venture more into the meme side of the rifle, basically how Bubbas are attempting to make it something it's not, its current market value, as least in late 2022, and how it's portrayed in video games and movies these days. Lastly, if there's anything you think I can improve on, please leave it down below. I would appreciate any kind of feedback, it'll help make this a better production. And if you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. So, with that said, I'll catch you on the next one.